Welcome to FilmFlix Movie Recap. In this recap, we're going to be reviewing the movie called Total Recall. In the far-off future, Douglas Quaid works in construction and is contentedly wedded to Laurie, but he feels dissatisfied with his life. Despite Laurie's teasing about his recurring dream of being with another woman on Mars, Quaid is intrigued when he sees an advertisement for Recall, a company that provides artificial memories of dream vacations. Against the advice of his co-worker, Harry, Quaid decides to visit Recall, and selects a package that will give him memories of an adventure on Mars, as a spy, including the option to choose a specific woman to appear in his memories. As Quaid prepares for the memory implantation procedure, he suddenly becomes agitated and delusional, claiming that his cover has been blown, and that someone is trying to kill him. He violently lashes out at the Recall director, and repeatedly insists that his name is not Quaid. The technicians eventually sedate him, and discover that his memories had been erased prior to the procedure. To avoid any potential repercussions, the Recall director decides to erase all memory of Quaid's visit, refund his money, and send him back home. After awakening in a Johnny cab, a self-driving taxi, Quaid is transported to a subway station, where he plans to catch a train home. Unfortunately, he is ambushed and captured by a group of men, led by his co-worker, Harry, who accuse him of revealing sensitive information about Mars while at Recall. However, Quaid has no recollection of his time at Recall or any knowledge of Mars, due to the memory erasure. Harry threatens to shoot him, but Quaid manages to overpower and kill all of his assailants. He is stunned by his newfound combat abilities, and troubled by his violent actions. Quaid hurries back to his home to seek solace with Laurie, and recounts his harrowing experience to her. Laurie realizes that Quaid has regained his memories of Mars, and attacks him, leading to a brutal physical confrontation. After subduing Laurie, Quaid holds her at gunpoint, and forces her to reveal the truth. His original identity has been erased, and replaced with a new one, with Laurie as his wife, and tasked with watching over him for the past 6 weeks. Bewildered, Quaid questions his true identity, and wonders aloud, "If I'm not me, then who am I?" In Quaid's apartment, a video monitor displays the arrival of armed men outside the building. Quaid incapacitates Laurie, and flees, pursued by Richter, who is revealed to be Laurie's real husband, and an agent of a mysterious organization controlled by Velos Cohagen, the tyrannical ruler of Mars. Richter is determined to eliminate Quaid, whom he knew on Mars. Meanwhile, Laurie greets Richter as her actual spouse. As Quaid runs through the streets, Richter and his henchmen attempt to kill him, leading to a chaotic gunfight. Quaid manages to kill some of his attackers, and escapes into an underground subway station. Cohagen contacts Richter, and inquires about the situation. Richter explains that he is trying to eliminate a traitor, but Cohagen insists that Quaid must be captured alive for reimplantation, and orders Richter not to kill him. However, Richter is determined to take Quaid out, and feigns a poor connection before hanging up on Cohagen. Richter's second-in-command, Helm, informs him that they have tracked down Quaid's location. After finding lodging at a cheap and nondescript hotel, Quaid receives a call in his room from an unknown individual who claims to have a suitcase for him. Confused, Quaid inquires about the caller's identity. The man reveals that they were once fellow agents on Mars, and that there is a tracking device embedded in Quaid's head, which is allowing Richter to pursue him. Acting on the stranger's advice, Quaid wraps his head with a damp towel to disrupt the tracking signal, retrieves the suitcase, and departs the hotel. However, Richter and Helm catch up with him, and give chase in a Johnny cab taxi. Despite his attempts to evade them, Quaid is ultimately tracked to an abandoned factory, even though he is still wearing the damp towel. As Quaid unlocks the suitcase, a screen plays a recording of himself, and inside he discovers various spying equipment. The recorded message reveals that Quaid was originally known as Hauser, a high-ranking member of the agency, and Cohagen's top agent. Hauser informs Quaid that he met Melina, an agent for the Mars rebels, and switched sides. However, Cohaagen discovered Hauser's betrayal and erased his identity, implanting a new one in its place. Quaid was exiled to Earth to be closely monitored. Hauser then instructs Quaid on how to remove the tracking device from his skull, which Quaid successfully extracts in a painful process. Hauser urges Quaid to travel to Mars to help the rebels destroy Cohaagen's rule. Quaid conceals the bug in a candy bar and tosses it to some rats before escaping, leaving Richter, Helm, and their men to chase after the decoy around the factory. Upon arriving at the domed mining colony on Mars, Quaid encounters the effects of poor air quality and radiation, which have caused deformities and psychic abilities in the locals. Meanwhile, Cohaagen's men track Quaid to Mars and discover graffiti that suggests the mutant leader Quado is still active. Quaid's disguise as a large woman is eventually exposed, leading to a firefight that causes a sudden decompression in the room. However, Quaid is able to escape after a customs agent hits an emergency button to stop the rush of air. While on a train leaving the customs station, Quaid inquires about a massive mountain in the distance that houses the Pyramid Mine, which provides an essential mineral called turbinium that is crucial for a major war on Earth. When Quaid asks a fellow passenger about it, the passenger tells him that he used to work there until they discovered alien artifacts and closed the mine. Quaid dismisses it as a mere rumor, but the other passenger scoffs at his suggestion. Meanwhile, Richter receives a severe reprimand from Cohaagen for his reckless actions in attempting to kill Quaid. Cohaagen also reveals that he intentionally withheld crucial information from Richter so that they could capture Quaid alive, and finally locate and eliminate Quado. After settling into his suite at the Hilton, Quaid retrieves a note from the hotel safe, reminding him to contact Melina at the last resort. Outside, a mutant taxi driver named Benny offers to take him to Venusville and the last resort, a bar and brothel. At the bar, Quaid meets Melina, who looks very similar to the woman he requested at Recall, but she doesn't believe his story and orders him to leave at gunpoint. Later, Quaid is visited by Dr. Edgemar, the founder of Recall, whom he saw in a Recall ad on Earth. Edgemar tries to convince Quaid that everything that has happened since his trip to Recall is a figment of his imagination, and that he's still at Recall. Strapped into the chair in the lab, Edgemar claims that Quaid's experience matches the dreams he asked to be implanted. Quaid, not convinced, points a gun at Edgemar. Edgemar attempts to convince Quaid that his experiences are just a result of the implanted memories, and offers him a pill to return to reality. However, before taking the pill, Quaid notices a drop of sweat on Edgemar's face, and realizes that he must be experiencing reality, not just a dream. He shoots and kills Edgemar, and is then captured by a team of men who break through the walls of the hotel room. Laurie hits Quaid several times, knocking him out. After being captured, Quaid is taken to an elevator by Laurie and Richter's men. However, Melina ambushes them and kills all the men except Laurie. A fight ensues between Laurie and Melina, and just as Laurie is about to kill Melina with a knife, Quaid shoots the knife out of her hand. Laurie reminds Quaid that they are married, but Quaid shoots her dead after seeing her reach for a gun, saying, "Consider that a divorce." Richter and Helm burst out of the elevator, and Richter is enraged when he sees Laurie's dead body. He attempts to shoot Quaid, who is now behind a protective dome pane, but is stopped by Helm. Quaid and Melina escape the hotel with the help of Benny, who takes them to Venusville and the last resort. They hide behind a secret panel, and a firefight ensues between the rebels and Cohaagen's security forces. During the fight, Helm and several of Richter's security forces are killed. Richter escapes with the rest of his men, and the entire neighborhood is sealed off with the oxygen circulation system and fans turned off. Cohaagen orders Richter to pull back after hearing about the firefight. The rebels take Quaid to meet Quado, the enigmatic leader of their movement who possesses psychic abilities to identify and extract information from covert Martian agents. They intend to have Quado probe Quaid's mind for vital intel that could aid their efforts to overthrow Cohaagen's tyrannical rule and liberate Mars. However, before meeting Quado, Quaid is brought to George, a senior rebel official who is revealed to be Kuato himself, a bizarre, conjoined entity with a small head and arms. Using his powers, Kuato delves into Quaid's mind and witnesses a vision of a hidden alien structure beneath the planet's surface. Cohaagen has concealed its existence to maintain the value of turbinium, an ore crucial for warfare. The device inside the structure could potentially convert the mineral and create a breathable atmosphere on Mars by melting a subterranean glacier and releasing oxygen. During the attack of Cohaagen's troops on the rebel hideout, many rebels are killed, forcing Quaid, Melina, Benny, and Kuato to flee. While preparing to escape, Benny unexpectedly shoots and kills Kuato, revealing that he is a spy working for Cohaagen. In his dying moments, Kuato urges Quaid to activate the reactor. Richter executes Kuato and takes Quaid and Melina to Cohaagen. At Cohaagen's office, he arrogantly reveals to Quaid that the entire operation was a trap planned by Hauser and himself. They used a memory erasing technique on Hauser, replacing his memories with those of Quaid so he could pass Kuato's psychic test. Despite his disbelief, Quaid hears a recording made by Hauser before his memory wipe, congratulating him for helping to eliminate the rebels. Quaid and Melina are taken to a facility where they plan to restore Hauser's memories and personality. During the memory programming procedure, Quaid manages to escape from his restraints, freeing Melina in the process, and proceeds to eliminate all the tech workers and guards. With Melina at his side, Quaid reveals that Kuato helped him remember that the ruins are, in fact, reactors capable of generating enough air for the entire planet. This knowledge would lead to Cohaagen losing his control over Mars. After reaching the ruins, they encounter Benny, who is operating a large mining drill machine. Quaid uses the machine's drill to kill Benny. They then make their way to the reactor, where a large platoon of soldiers, led by Richter, is waiting for them. Using a hologram device, Quaid confuses the soldiers, and he and Melina take them all out. Richter manages to board a freight elevator that leads to the ruins control panel. Quaid joins him, and a fierce fight ensues, resulting in Richter losing his arms and falling to his death. Quaid arrives at the reactor control area and finds Cohaagen waiting for him. Cohaagen has set up the facility to explode and is about to kill Quaid when Melina shoots and injures him. Cohaagen activates the bomb, but Quaid manages to throw it away before it detonates. The explosion creates a breach in the wall, causing a loss of pressure. Quaid and Melina cling onto each other as Cohaagen is sucked out into the Martian atmosphere and dies due to lack of oxygen and intense solar radiation. Quaid turns on the reactor just in time before he and Melina are pulled out into the atmosphere. However, they are saved as the reactor produces a massive amount of breathable air, which floods over the entire planet, smashing through the protective windows of the colony. The people who were struggling to breathe before are now able to inhale the fresh air and breathe freely again. Quaid and Melina look up at the Martian sky, which has transformed into a blue and cloudy vista, and Quaid begins to question if this is all just a dream, a figment of his imagination while he is still at recall on Earth. Melina interrupts his thoughts and playfully invites him to kiss me quick before you wake up. Quaid and Melina share a passionate kiss, and the scene fades to white. And that's all for this recap. See you in the next one.